Hey everyone, so the other day I've done a ribbon hair bow tutorial and today I'm going to be doing a glitter hair bow tutorial, and yes, it is Christmas themed. It does seem early to me, to be honest with you. I haven't got quite my head into the fact it's October yet, let alone getting into Christmas, but I do feel that we do need to start preparing, especially if you sell your hair bows. You need to start sort of designing and making your bows now. So this is actually what I'm doing, and I thought I would show you guys as I'm making it. I'm going to be using this cute little clay. I did make this myself. You may have noticed if you subscribe to my channel that I do clay tutorials as well. I will pop a link to this tutorial at the end of this video, so keep an eye out for that if you do want to see how I make my clays. I've also got these little clay candy canes. I got these from AliExpress. I may use these on this hair bow as well. I've got a 45mm hair clip. These are just personal preference, what I like to use. You can use tooth clips, you can pop your bow onto a headband or an elastic, it is up to you. And I've also got a piece of ribbon 1 centimetre wide by 11 centimetres in length, and that is to wrap my clip. I used a lighter to heat seal the end of my ribbon, and sometimes it's good just to heat seal around the edges of your fabric once you've cut them out. The hair bow template that I'm going to use today is the Odyssey hair bow template. This is from Bow Templates UK. I have got this in a 4-inch version and a 3-inch version. I'm going to be using the 4-inch version of this template today. And I've got my fabrics here. Now I got these from, I think this one was from Bow Templates, and I think this one was from Bow Templates, and this one was from AliExpress. I can't remember, but I will try to find everything that I use in this video, and I will link all of the products in the description below so you can find all of these to use if you want to. And the scissors that I use are these Fiskars fabric scissors. These are brilliant for cutting out, especially chunky glitters. They cut through them very easily. Again, these will be linked in the description below also. So in the Odyssey bow templates, you get the centre strip, but I don't bother using this, especially if I'm sticking on a clay, because you don't see the centre, because as you see, it's got that round sort of detailing. If I was just having a glitter centre, I would use this, but I'm just going to cut a strip by eye. You get your 4-inch wide tails. You get these lovely tall loops, which is what I like about this bow, these taller loops. And then you get these sort of flatter loops, and then you get the smaller loops. You can do this as a 3-layer bow. I'm not totally sure where I'm going to go with this bow yet, so I'm just going to play it by ear. But what I do know is that I want my transparent fabric to be my top loops, or possibly middle, depending if I go for this in the end. So taking my wider loops, which will be the middle, these are intended to be the bottom loops. I'm going to set those aside, and I'm going to draw around my fabric. Now obviously this is transparent fabric. I do draw around the front of this with just an ordinary biro pen, because I cut the pen line off when I cut it out. I will show you how I do that. But this way I can pick out my pattern, what I want to be showing on my loops. So when you make a bow, obviously you fold this over. So this part of the bow is what is going to be shown at the top. And because I'm using a clay with a gingerbread house, I do want to have at least one gingerbread house showing on one half. Luckily this is slightly see-through, so I can see the pattern. So I think if I went... So I think here would be a good place. So I've got this gingerbread house here, which will be showing, and then some other little gingerbread things will be showing on this side. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to draw around this separately. So I'm going to have this at an angle, so my gingerbread house is sitting straight as my focal point on that half of the bow. So this will be folded over, so this will be nice and central and in view. So I'm going to draw around half of this template. I'm sorry if I'm babbling on, I'm kind of thinking out loud because I don't really know where I'm going with this bow yet. So that will be that half of the bow. And then for the other half, these are all different angles anyway, and I do like these little gingerbread men, so I'm going to go for about here. So that's our Claire piece. Next I'm going to draw around my taller loops onto my red glitter fabric and my tails onto this candy cane sprinkles fabric, and I'm going to do 2 tails. I'm going to do that and then cut everything out. To join these together you can use a dab of super glue, because obviously with this being a smooth fabric, hot glue doesn't always hold. Or to help you out, you could use a little piece of scrap felt with hot glue, because hot glue and felt works really well together. I'm just going to cut off a little tiny square, making sure my gingerbread house is here and this side is where I want it facing towards the front. I'm going to place some glue on this piece of felt and join my 2 halves together. And then this will also help the 2 tabs to stick well as well, because the hot glue and the felt, like I say, will work well together, and that will just hold this enough whilst we work on our bow. And then once you get your clip on there and the centre wrap round, that will help it even more to stay together. So I don't feel the need to use super glue, but if you do for extra security, then feel free to use some super glue on your transparent smoother fabrics. And then next, taking our tall loops in the red, we're going to pop some glue on each of those tab ends and glue them straight down into the middle. And as you can see, what I like to do is leave around 1 millimetre overlap from the front, so this is the front, toward the back, so you've got this slight overlap here, and that way when you flip it over you've got less chance of the inside of the bow showing through the loops. And we're going to layer these 2 up now, and as you can see, if I'd have chosen this as my tall loop, it would have been a little bit too light and busy to show the pattern in the transparent, whereas this plain sort of darker glitter makes it able to see the pattern in the transparent. So removing the clip now, I'm going to pop some glue in the middle of that bottom taller loop, making sure my transparent loops are the correct way up. And pop that clip back on there to hold those in place. And as you can see with this Odyssey bow, these wider loops, they're slightly taller but not so wide, and that just gives a really nice different look to the bow. I do really like this bow shape. And now we can use our tails. Now I'm not sure how to do the tails. As you can see, the tails are quite wide on this bow shape. What I might do, I might cut both of these in half, because like I said, these tails are quite wide, so I'm going to cut them in half. I'm going to make one pair of the loops slightly shorter, so I'm just going to join them together so they're slightly shorter than what they were. And I'm going to place the other 2 as tails down. So I'm going to bring them down at a slight angle. So I'm going to place the glue at the top towards the centre and angle these ones down. making sure I leave space in the middle for when we wrap the centre of the bow. Same with the other half of the tail. And then I'm going to place my bow now on the top of the tail, so popping some glue along that middle. And next I'm going to line my clips. I'm just going to set this aside for a moment. So taking my 1 centimetre wide ribbon by 11 centimetres in length, I've heat sealed the ends using a lighter. I'm going to line my clip. This is optional. This is just something that I like to do. I say this in every tutorial, but you don't have to. I just think it gives a nice finish. Plus it helps the clip to stay in place. The ribbon just helps it to stick. And I just think it gives a nice finish personally. So like that, and then I'm going to place the glue on the clip, not the pinch part, just the end, and stick that on the underside of my bow. Taken the Christmassy candy cane fabric, I'm going to cut a strip around 5 centimetres by 1 centimetre wide. I know I'm off the screen, I'll show you in a moment. Move that out of the way. So I'm cutting this around 1 centimetre wide by 5 centimetres in length. I'm just doing this by eye. And this is going to be to wrap around the centre. So I'm just placing a bit on the top for now so I can line it up. And then I'm going to bring that around the centre. And then finish by gluing that on the underside of the clip, and then we can add our clay embellishments. And when you pinch the clip, I always tell people this, do not pinch on your loops because you will flatten your bow and get a nasty crease in there. So I always pinch just the tail part and the clip and not my loops. So this is what we have so far, and as you can see, this makes a lovely bow as it is, but we are going to embellish ours with our clay. So getting my little clay that I made earlier, and I'm going to take out one of these cute little candy canes. So to attach clays to hair bows, as I said before, hot glue and felt works really well together, and also this Gorilla Super Glue gel works rather well on clays and resins. So I like to use a mix of both so that I've got double the strength or double the security. Now, whenever I sell bows with clays on, I do tell people they can be pulled off. If you pulled hard enough, you can pull a clay off of a bow, unfortunately. It is just how it is. I haven't found a permanent glue that will hold a clay permanently. So if any of you know of a glue that does work wonders, then let me know. A lot of people say about 𝘰𝘳𝘧𝘪𝘭𝘪. I personally don't like it because it is so strong, and yeah, I just don't like using it. I think you're supposed to have the windows open and wear a mask. I mean, this is obviously not brilliant for you to breathe in, but yeah, this is not half as potent as the 𝘰𝘳𝘧𝘪𝘭𝘪. So I prefer to use this with a mix of hot glue as well. And I have got my little girl and customers have got bows with clays on, and they have lasted well over a year, so I'm quite confident in this method. So let's not babble on any further, and let's hot glue on the felt first onto the clay. So around the middle part, because that is what is going to be touching the centre of the hair bow. Missed a little bit at the end, so I'm just going to stick that end down as well. So that is on there really securely now. If I really wanted to, I could peel this off. The felt will just rip apart, but like I said, hopefully no child or adult is going to pull at the clay, hopefully. The next step is to take the Gorilla Super Glue Gel, and you want to place this around the edges. So I'm just going to see how she sits on the bow. So around the middle there. So taking my Gorilla Glue Gel, I'm going to place this around the edges of this felt where it is going to touch my bow. And this glue is nice because it's a gel consistency. It doesn't run, it stays in place. I'm also going to put it at the bottom and the top of the felt. And then I've left a gap in the middle for my hot glue. So I'm not going to mix the glues together too much. That is not what I'm trying to achieve. I don't want a mix of glue. I want them to both work separately but together, if that makes sense. So this hot glue will now hold. It will form an immediate bond whilst the super glue is setting. I'm just going to hold that on there for a minute or two. Taking our little candy cane, we're going to stick this on the bottom corner. So again, I'm going to use my Gorilla Super Glue Gel. Try not to get it on your fingers because it will bond your skin together if you do. And then we're just going to stick that on this bottom corner. So slightly at an angle. And there she is, my finished gingerbread clay girl hair bow. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you press the bell button, that will turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.